I do want to continue the Dune 2 conversation, but I wanted to kind of bleed into our next segment here, which is
Okay.
always our final segment of the show. Very
Sup with
excited
Star
to talk
Wars.
about this. And yes, he predicted it. It's up with Star Wars. So let's talk about this. So while it's not a Star Wars thing per se, it has had huge inspiration on Star Wars, and that is Dune, which is all the talk right now in the movie theaters, guys, and it's all the talk in the box office. So I do want to talk about the effects that maybe Dune might have on Star Wars after this big
Okay.
success, because we were already kind of talking about in our earlier segments about, great storytelling has prevailed and studios need to start paying attention. Here's the thing. Star Wars movies are coming out and they're getting rated PG-13. Dune is a PG-13 film. It is,
Mm-hmm.
anybody can go see it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying the kids would love it as much as the adults, but here's the thing. The adults are going to pay to take their kids to Dune because of how great it's supposed to be. And they're going to want their kids to experience this moment, this event, the same way that they wanted their kids to experience the Phantom Menace when they were, when that was coming out, and the same way that people wanted their kids to experience A New Hope. Listen, I am not saying that you need to make Star Wars movies as dark as Dune or something, but you do need to start paying attention to these great stories. And I know Disney's on this thing. It's like, it's got to be family fair. It's got to be family fair. A New Hope is family fair. Darth Vader's a scary mofo. Phantom Menace is family fair, and Darth Maul is a scary mofo. You got to have it in there for everybody, is my point. And I look at a villain in Dune like Fade Routha, who's terrifying. That
Ooh.
doesn't mean that kids can't watch it. I think,
Honestly, probably he's probably the most. He's probably the darkest and most scariest that I've seen like for
yeah,
like forever. Because that dude is so psychotic. I swear.
yeah,
And that was one thing that I did want to say
yeah,
about Dune is I loved the black and white they used.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, man! They
Amazing.
used that black and white perfectly. Honestly, it was great.
Amazing. And I do think that because of the success of Dune, Star Wars does need to look at what I don't want Star Wars to do is say Dune was great. Let's make every Star Wars project having to do with
Yeah.
sand. Now, that's the last thing I want, because they tried
In
that
the
and it
words of
didn't
Anakin
work.
Skywalker.
Stop that. Don't do that. What I want them to do is pay attention and be like, you know what? We can like start talking to some of these better storytellers. We need to look at pitches that just we have to worry about the family fair thing later. Let's just take the best pitch that we get and make it. And then we'll cut it down to a PG-13 setting, if we need to, whatever we got to do. But let's just make the best story possible, and I think that I'm hoping beyond all hope that Dune 2 was going to make that happen. Not that, again, we had Andor, and I think I was pretty thrilled with that. Andor happened. I don't understand. I know that it's harder to gauge because it's not a box office ordeal, but my point is like you can make great stories within the Star Wars universe, and Dune being one of the biggest things that uh, inspired George in the first place to write Star Wars. I don't know why they should be looking at this more than any of the other studios right off the bat. Lucasfilm should be looking at Dune right out the bat and saying, okay, what can we do to be on par with Dune? Because this is what audiences want from their sci-fi fantasy. You know what I'm saying? And again, it
Right.
doesn't have to be as dark as Dune. It doesn't. It really doesn't. My point is go to the best story possible. I don't know, Jose. What kind of effects do you think Dune might have on Star Wars? Hopefully in a positive way.
What, well, no, I mean, one thing I think Disney needs to do is just scrap the whole family fair thing. Honestly, at
hmm
this point, it's just getting long.
Yeah.
Um, and even if they don't want to, I feel like they can become a company that can be essentially two companies in one. It could still be Disney, but it can have one side which is family fair, and then another side that is for more of the adult audiences. Because that's how they lose. Honestly, I would say a majority of their audience members is being too family fair when a movie doesn't warrant it. I mean, you look at Thor: Love and Thunder with the whole Gore the
Right.
God Butcher. They made it too family fair. Um, you look at there's a bunch of examples. I mean, you just look. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the MCU movies that they've made a little too family fair have just not worked out, and they've just lost so many audience members. So I feel like that's one thing that they might not need to lose it completely. Like they could keep it for like their
Yeah.
Disney classic stuff that they want to do live action and stuff like that. But for these two franchises that you've taken over
Yeah.
that fans have loved so much because yeah, they were still technically family fair, but there were still like scary aspects to it and worked for what they did. for these two
Yeah.
franchises, maybe just drop the family fare, honestly, because at this point, if you just keep on with this, you're just gonna be, you might even just lose all the fans for these franchises altogether and just
Yeah.
lose on so much money.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think Dune is gonna have a positive impact on Star Wars in terms of seeing how perfect this story was, how incredibly well it was executed, and um it'll like hit him like, whoa, okay, we need to start looking at like some of these writers who have incredible written stories and go with that. And then if if we need to make it a little more friendly fare, we can.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like honestly, if it's a perfect story, just don't even mess with it, man.
Hmm.
Like I said, just split the family fare. Keep all your Disney classic stuff
Yeah.
family fare, and then for MCU and Star Wars,
Yeah.
just drop the whole family fare thing, man. Because you don't
Yeah.
honestly at this point you don't need it because this is getting long
Yeah.
at this point right now.
Eh,
Honestly, because
Yeah.
the amount of people that I've heard that have boycotted Disney because of how crap all these Star Wars and MCU projects are because you're making them too family fare. Like the amount of friends of the amount of my film friends in my classes, in
Yeah.
all of my Georgia State classes, who have told me that they're boycotting Disney, like not having Disney Plus anymore, not even
Yeah.
going and watching. I think the last MCU film that my friends in my film classes have gone and watched was
Yeah.
Endgame.
Right.
I'm like, bro, do you know how many MCU projects
Well,
have come out since?
I was gonna say, to be fair to the MCU, I mean they've at least done like Killmonger and Thanos, and they've had their darker spots for sure.
That's what I mean.
You know
That's what I
what
said. The
mean?
Endgame was like the
Yeah.
last time that they had seen, and then with Star Wars, I think the last project they had seen was like the trilogy movies. I think that was
Right.
the last thing they ever saw from Star Wars. So
Right.
like, I'm like the amount of shows and stuff that have come out since.
Yeah.
Like that's what I mean. Like I think they should need to drop this family affair thing and actually just go for like incredibly
Yeah.
written projects that are actually gonna bring their fans and the masses back to what
Yeah.
made them fall in love with these two franchises in the first place.
Yeah, and I get like people are like, okay, well, Filoni's had a creative now, so he's not going to do something like Dune. It's like, guys, Filoni's a fan of Dune. We'll get the Thrawn episode in Ahsoka. Filoni likes Dune, no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
You could tell from the influences. I mean, it's there, and at least we do have Thrawn and the Night Sisters and zombie stormtroopers. I'm happy that all that was at least brought in for Ahsoka and all that. And then on top of that, we have Andor, which again are the two best projects that they've done, and they're darker. You know what I mean? They're darker. Adults can enjoy them. Maybe again with Andor, not as much as the kids, but the kids can still enjoy them. And part of the thing I remember about Star Wars, and the reason it stood the test of time, is because I remember how scary Darth Vader was to me as a kid. I remember how scary Darth Maul was to me as a kid. You know what
Oh
I'm
no,
saying?
same.
Like that's
Yeah,
that's
no,
part
for
of the
sure.
effect.
Yeah.
Like I think that they had this mentality over there that like, oh, we're gonna scare children. Great. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you know who scared me too?
It's
General Grievous scared me too.
right.
That robot dude with like 6 arms, like
Right, 100%.
yeah.
It's like great, scare them. You know what I mean? It's about how much you scare them. You know what I mean? Like don't go, showing like heads like literally getting chopped off with all the blood and gore, but you can have people who are scary looking and scary in demeanor and scary in attitude, like a Fade Routha. You know what I'm saying? That's my point more or less. You know what I mean? And kids will still enjoy it. I promise you, tons of children were in there to see The Dark Knight when that came out, right? I mean, talking about Warner Brothers, right? Like, I guarantee you tons of families took their children to see that movie, and the Joker is freaking terrifying in that movie. Like,
Facts.
you can still do it in a PG-13 context. I'm not saying Star Wars should go R-rated. I wouldn't want it to. It'd be weird, but unless it's like a Vader film.
Yeah,
then
no,
maybe
and I
you do
wasn't,
that, but
and I wasn't. I was gonna say
Yeah.
I wasn't. That wasn't
Yeah.
what I was saying. I was just saying
Yeah.
drop the family fair stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just keep it.
make a
No,
great
because
story.
like okay, look, kids have been scared from movies from. Well, and that's the thing too is that these franchises were part of Disney at the time. But
Yeah.
kids have been scared from stuff
Yeah.
since the beginning of time. So
Yeah.
like just because Disney, just because you've taken over the MCU
Right.
stars doesn't mean that you need to take away what
Yeah.
the fans love so much about the two franchises.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, for sure. I mean, yeah, I remember being scared of when I was a kid out of like basically I was scared shitless about Emperor Palpatine as well when I was a kid. I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that. He
Palpatine's
used
another
to
great example. Yeah.
terrify me.
When I first saw him in Return of
to
the
the
Jedi, oh
core.
my God. Yeah. It's like, yeah. And all of that
Yeah,
is done
exactly.
in a PG-13 setting, and then
Exactly.
you could still
Exactly.
do it. The Batman was a PG-13 movie, and it feels like something that would have been R-rated, right? Like you're looking at these movies, and it's like, and they're already PG-13. I don't see why not take the extra step and just go darker with them. And just
Right.
just make it work. And I'm hoping Dune is a statement to that. Like, I hope Dune is making them pay attention, and they're like, man, this was
Well, I
George's
feel like
biggest
with this,
influence.
I feel like with Deadpool 3 being R-rated, I feel like this is like Disney's way of
We're
saying we're
starting
kind of
to get
dropping
there. Yeah,
we're starting to drop the family fare, yeah,
a little
and
bit.
actually, you know, becoming a
Yeah,
little, bringing these franchises back to what they were and what the
yeah,
fans grew up loving. I do feel like this Deadpool 3 movie is kind of like them showing like they're starting
yeah,
to move back in that direction, because I feel like the reason why they have they became so family fair is because I mean, if you really think about it, it was when Bob Paycheck was
it's
was
true.
there,
Yeah,
and now that Iger's back, it seems like everything's kind of just taking that 180 back to
yeah, yeah.
what it used to be. So no, I'm definitely glad that it seems like they're trying to get back into what it used to be.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely am hoping that this is a good sign. I'm hoping the Dune's
Yeah,
success is a good sign, and I do think that
yeah.
again, more than anybody, Star Wars needs to be looking at this because
I
this
think
is
I
the
think Bob Iger saw. I think Bob Iger saw that he's thinking, all right, both of these franchises,
yeah,
Star Wars and Marvel, all right, y'all are gonna like look at these and be like, yeah,
yeah,
this is what we need to like strive for.
yeah,
Just like perfectly executed stories for our projects,
yeah,
quality over quantity. This is like my favorite ever quote:
yeah,
quantity over quality.
yeah,
Honestly,
yeah. You also know who's a big Star Wars fan? Denis Villeneuve, Christopher Nolan.
I mean,
Disney has the money
yep.
to hire these guys. Why not get them on and you know what I'm saying? Like, they are massive Star Wars fans. They would love the
It
chance
honestly
to.
baffles me.
Yeah,
Like, it baffles me that they haven't been hired yet for any Disney, like any Star Wars or MCU projects at this
yeah.
point. Like, it actually it's baffled me.
They would love a crack at it, man, and they would make some of the best Star Wars we'd seen
Oh, I bet you
between those two.
after this after Dune I bet you after Dune Messiah, Disney's gonna be calling up Denis
I was
Villeneuve
gonna
to
say it'd be
do a
dumb if they
project.
didn't
I hundred
call him
percent bet
yet.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
True.
come on, at least
I
call
bet you
him.
did. I bet you. I was gonna say. I bet you after Dune 2, Disney was like, Bob Iger was like, "Hey, yo,
Yeah,
Denis, how what'd you say after Dune Messiah? You come and do a Star Wars project." Denis will take the first flight over
yeah.
there and be like, "Yeah, let me sign this contract real
Well,
quick."
he's at least gonna want to know. Like, I think the first thing they're gonna do is they're gonna talk to him. I mean, we heard a story about uh, Nolan wanting to do Bond, but he wanted to do it his way, and they said no. It's like, why wouldn't you let him do it his way? Man, he's one of the best Nolan. And the same with Denis, man. Denis, give him the control, man. Let him do it. Like, just let
Please,
him do it.
please.
As long as he agrees to do it within the PG-13 setting, let him do it.
I already know that him and Dave would be like the best of partners
I think so.
in
Yeah,
doing it in
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I genuinely think so. Like, I think, like, and Dave is about the kids in the sense that, like, don't forget about them, but at the same time, I don't think Dave's afraid to go dark. Again, I point to the Thrawn episode in Ahsoka that is so
I
inspired
was
by
gonna say, and
Dune.
also
It's
like
got Dune all over it.
he also like he worked with George, so he knows like
Yeah,
what this franchise is all about. So
yeah,
he's never gonna forget that. He's never gonna forget what the Star Wars franchise is, and so he's gonna want to make sure that every single project stays
yeah.
within what George was doing whenever Dave was working for him.
I guarantee Dave loves this new Dune movie. I guarantee it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I bet you he's already seen it like 7 times at least.
He's got that kind of money. Yeah, he can do that. For sure. He
He
can.
probably doesn't even need the money. He probably got sent it by Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, that's true. He probably saw it before any of us. It's like, hopefully.
Exactly.
Oh man. But yeah, I'm just hoping that the Dune has a better effect on Star Wars and studios moving forward.
I just
want to
hope that
carry
yeah,
that in.
I was gonna say I feel like Dune, or I hope that Dune is having an impact on every single
Yeah.
company out there that exists right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly,
100%. They do need to be paying attention. And speaking of darker things in Star Wars, let's get to this story here, which is very exciting. And the Acolyte has a tentative release date. This is another Collider exclusive. Getting great stories. The series has reportedly also found its composer. Following our report that the upcoming Star Wars series, The Acolyte, would be launching this summer, Collider has learned The Acolyte is currently slated to debut on Disney Plus June 5th of 2024.
yes.
Disney's representatives did not deny or confirm our reporting when reached out for comments. So there you are. The Acolyte, which hails from creator Leslie Headland, is a mystery thriller that will take viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era. During the show, a former Padawan will reunite with her Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but the forces they confront are more sinister than they ever anticipated. Well, that's what I'm talking about right there. The show will be set 100 years before the events of Star Wars, the Star Wars prequel trilogy. A time is known as the High Republic. The era of the High Republic has been documented extensively via Star Wars books, and the era is currently the focus of a publishing initiative that goes by the title of Star Wars: The High Republic. The scope of the expanded Star Wars universe, both in time and space, has been one ripe for exploration, a theme that was touched upon when Collider's Maggie Lovett spoke with Kathleen Kennedy back in 2022. Excuse me. As with most studio slates these days, the Acolyte's release date could be pushed to later in the year, but it is currently slated for June 5th, 2024, which would see it debut a month after the final episodes of The Bad Batch. Makes a lot of sense. A trailer is reportedly ready to be released, but it is unclear when Disney plans to unveil it. Star Wars Day or May the 4th could be an ideal day to share it with the fans who didn't catch it at Star Wars Celebration last year. Please, God, put it out earlier. Jordan Peele's go-to Jordan Peele's go-to composer, Michael Abels, has been tapped for the Acolyte. I love that. The Collider can also confirm Michael Abels, the composer best known for the work alongside Jordan Peele in his 3 feature films, Get Out, Us, and Nope, has been tapped to produce the score for the upcoming series. Abels also composed
I love
the
it.
opera Omar, about the life of Omar in IBN, whatever, said. Oh, Ibn Said. Yeah, I know that name, and I didn't say it right. Based on his autobiography, A Muslim American Slave, The Life of Omar Ibn Said, written in 1831, mostly in Arabic. For his work on Omar, Abels, alongside composer and librettist Rhiannon Giddens, was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for music in 2023. Abels' score for Us received countless end-of-year nominations at numerous award ceremonies, while it was named Score of the Decade by The Wrap. It was an incredible score indeed. Can confirm. All right.
Fair.
So I love everything I'm hearing here. June 5th is great. The only thing I didn't like that I heard is May the 4th being a good date, but that's just speculation. I think they need to. Again, this is a darker story. Piggyback on Dune's success right now. Put this trailer out, like right now. No joke. I think that
honestly,
a lot of people don't know about the High Republic. They don't know about this show. A lot of the masses. Get this thing out. Get the hype building. Make it happen right now. Start it now, and then maybe May the 4th put out a longer trailer. I could see that, but at least get the teaser out, right now.
Yeah, you put in a teaser, put a teaser like now. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Michael Abel's doing the score. I think the show's going to be pretty dark, just based on his past work. And
no, for sure.
He's worked with Jordan Peele. That bodes very well for me. This is the show. This is the Star Wars project I've been looking forward to the most of everything. We've been asking for Sith content for a long time. We're finally getting it. And
I know I definitely have.
I'm so excited it's happening. June 5th of this year, finally. I believe the Collider report. I don't think that date's going to move. I know that they said that a lot of things do. I think that is concrete. If it does move, I could see it maybe being just a couple days or a week off or something, but not too far off of June 5th. I think that sounds about right. Especially if they're looking for, they're circling the holidays for Skeleton Crew. Which makes sense because that is a little bit more the family fare that we were talking about. I believe,
true.
But in a good way, hopefully. But this is the one that is the darkest. It makes sense to put it out in the summertime. I think it sounds like a great summer series. I'm very, very excited about the prospect of the show and what it could be and what it could entail. Yeah, man, I don't know. Do you have any other takes on this? I mean, what do you think?
Honestly, piggyback on you said about Abel's and his score. I've definitely, just from that alone, I know this is going to be pretty dark. Probably the darkest thing that we're going to have for Star Wars, which I am absolutely looking forward to, because I know I have definitely ranted on this channel, especially for Star Wars, about how I have been wanting something dark and Sith based forever, because we haven't gotten really anything like that for Star Wars. It's just all been Jedi. I mean, yeah, there's been Sith, but not like heavily Sith based. So definitely looking forward to that. I also do believe, Collider is saying that June 5th is the release date, which I'm absolutely thrilled about. I can't wait for that. Again, the trailer, I'm just waiting for the trailer at this point, because I can't wait to see what it entails. I know it's gonna be great, whatever it is.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
And Yeah, no, I'm honestly just super excited for this. I can't wait for this to release and for me to watch it and for us to review it here for you guys to talk to you guys about it for sure.
Same, man, same. And it sounds like it's all shaping up to be something pretty special. I'm hoping anyway. I'm hoping this is the one that can like really bring the
Fingers
fans
crossed.
together and just, and I hopefully, the nice thing about this being set so early is, there is potential for multiple seasons. You know what I mean? And I think that's a pretty big thing. That's a pretty big takeaway, I think, of this. And man, I'm just so excited. I think it's being right at the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace 2 is really neat.
Hmm.
The Phantom Menace is a very Sith heavy movie, when you really start to break it down. And I think that it's neat that we're kind of returning to that part of the lore right around the time that we're at the 25th anniversary of that. So it makes a lot of sense. I think after the show comes out, prequel fever will be upon us. I definitely think, the other great thing about it is the marketing tie-in. They can really start to sell some of these High Republic books to some of the folks that don't know them as well,
No, for sure.
which I think will be really neat. And by the way, again, everything I've read of the High Republic series has been pretty solid. I do recommend that folks go read it. It's a lot. It's a little bit like Dune, very dense, but very solid stuff. I really enjoy what they've been doing with the High Republic. It's one of the better parts of the Disney canon, to be honest. It feels fresh, feels new, and everything. Yeah, everything about it is pretty great. I did want to talk about this story. So, um, a lot of people, a big part for a lot of people, Star Wars anyway, is not just enjoying the content, but the collecting aspect of it. A lot of people love to collect Star Wars things, and I mean, not me, duh. But yeah, no,
Yeah, definitely,
obviously,
definitely not me
not
either with
me,
my
right?
Star Wars books here.
But that's a huge part for the fans, and it's one of the things that we've kind of lost. I feel like in the collection process is the physical media side of it. I mean, we've had Best Buy, just recently not put out any physical media at all. I mean, it's gone. You can't go into a Best Buy and buy physical media at all anymore. But it's been such a huge part of Star Wars, and I was so happy when they finally put out, at least with the Disney Plus stuff, they gave us the first two seasons of Mandalorian, which are the best two seasons, and of course I bought them and I own them on 4K disc, and they're beautiful. It's the best way to watch the series, 100%. I recommend everybody who's a fan and a collector go get those steelbooks and get those 4K discs, because again, it enhanced the show so much for me. But that's two things from Disney Plus we have, and I still got to admit, even though I have a lot of Star Wars versions on VHS, Blu-ray, whatever, what have you, of all the movies, I have a lot of versions of all of them. I am still feeling a little incomplete. Well, good news. StarWars.com officially has put out that we are getting Andor and Obi-Wan Kenobi on
Oh
4K disc.
my
Obi-Wan Kenobi and
goodness.
Andor head to 4K Ultra HD, and there's a nice picture of the steel books for y'all. The critically acclaimed series makes the jump to physical media. Hello there. Physical media fans, home video collectors, and every galaxy have reason to celebrate. Yes, we do. As Lucasfilm and Disney announced today that Obi-Wan Kenobi and Andor will come to 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and Blu-ray on April 30th, originally released in 2022 on Disney Plus. All right, this will mark the first opportunity to own Emmy Award-nominated shows on disc. Both Obi-Wan Kenobi, the complete series, and Andor, the complete first season, 4K UHD, and Blu-ray sets will feature premium steelbook packaging and come with new bonus features as well as exclusive concept
Ooh.
art cards. You can get a first look at the set's original key art by Poster Posey. I believe that's how you pronounce that name. Artist Attila Sarka. I can't say that. And more below, along with a full breakdown of extras for each release. And then there's a little bit more of a look at the
Oh,
steel
dude,
books
that
inside
is so
casing.
sick.
Amazing.
Oh my
Um,
god.
all right.
These aren't the droids you're looking for. These aren't the
100%.
droids you're looking.
So let me tell you, I am so happy that Star Wars has not forgotten about us physical media collectors. This is fantastic news.
Yeah, more you than me, but yeah.
For sure, but it's right around the corner, April 30th. I couldn't be happier. I get to pre-order these probably now and get them on 4K Steelbook and have them on April 30th. Man, again, just couldn't be more excited. Um, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm not the biggest fan of, but I'm a completionist. I have to have
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Steelbook.
neither, but yeah, no, I
Um,
know you do.
but Andor's the big one for me, man. Andor's like to
Oh
have
yeah,
that on
no.
4K
Honestly,
Steelbook. Ooh,
I if I was to buy one, it would probably be
yeah.
Andor for sure. I might get Obi-Wan. It just honestly for me depends on how
Oh.
much they're gonna cost.
I mean, to have that finally on the shelf right next to Rogue One, man, my Rogue One Steelbook, that's gonna feel so cool. And to have Obi-Wan, right above my New Hope Steelbook, that'll be neat as well. I think that's a huge thing. This is a huge thing for collectors. I'm very excited that this is finally happening and that we're all going to be able to have these, and you can. It's like it is. It really doesn't feel like it's officially part of the Star Wars family till you can hold it. There's something about that.
True.
Just something about them even being out there on physical media for people to buy and own is a big deal. And I think that again, I'm glad we're coming back to this. And yeah, man, I can't wait to see these discs. Again, Mandalorian, I was very surprised at how much better that disc enhances the show and the quality of it and the presentation of it. It's very, very neat. And I'm very much looking forward to this. I can't wait for these to come out. And again, this is definitely a story catered to me. But it's still huge Star Wars news, so we had to talk about it here
No, no, for
today.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Will you pick either of these up? I mean, you got to go after the Andor at least. I feel like.
Oh no,
I
yeah,
mean,
no. I
yeah,
was like I said, if I was to pick buy one, it would definitely be the Andor one because that show's just incredible.
for
Again,
sure.
like I said, depending on the price, I might pick up both. I might not. We'll have to see.
Hmm.
But definitely, if I was only able to get one, it would definitely have to be Andor because I feel like watching the Andor season and then going and watching. I know it's not complete yet, but watching that and then like going and watching Rogue One, it just feels like I'm
Right.
watching a whole long movie in a
Yeah.
sense.
No, for sure. Like it.
So
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I 100% agree with you on that. All right, guys. So I did want to talk about another thing. So we did have some releases that, a release, and we got another release coming up here that I'm very excited about. So, one thing we haven't talked about at all, another thing we've kind of talked about, but not really. So I did want to actually kind of sort of review this in a way, to a degree. The Dark Forces game got remastered and came out. I had a
mm,
chance to play it in its entirety over the weekend. It's fantastic.
yeah, how was it?
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
It's amazing. It's one of my favorite Star Wars game drops in a very long time. Um,
fair.
shooting stormtroopers has never felt so satisfying in this game than in this game. Uh, Asper, I believe it was Asper that put it out. Yeah, they did a great job. It was Asper. They did a great job with remastering the game. Uh, Being able to play as Kyle Katarn, I even went and got me a Kyle Katarn figure. I was so excited for this release. Being able to play as that classic Legends character again was a lot of fun. The settings, the environments in the game really did make me feel like I was playing in The Mandalorian Season 2. It definitely reminded me of where The Mandalorian Season 2 got its inspiration. Being able to go around and shoot these Dark Troopers in, again, a great remaster was incredible. Being a part of the rebellion and trying to stop the production of the Dark Troopers, man, it just feels immersive and fun. And this is a game that I played a lot of, not growing up per se, but just in my lifetime. And to see this remaster and have it in 1080p right there on my PS5, ready to go, doesn't take up a lot of gigabytes. It's like 1 point something gigabytes for the whole game. Fantastic, and they did a great job again on it, and it runs smooth. I had no bugs throughout the entire game. That's fantastic for a new release. It was one of the smoothest runs I've had. I was able to beat it in 12 hours, probably, maybe even a little less. And I wanted to go back and do it again. That's the great thing about the campaign. It's so fun that it makes you want to go back and do it again. It makes you want to go back and do it on all of the difficulties. Try to beat it on all of them, and it's so fun, man. I swear, I loved having the feel back of classic Star Wars, you know what I mean? It made me feel like I was in like a New Hope or something. I mean, it really, really brought it all back home for me. And this is such a great game. I recommend every Star Wars fan just pick this up. It is fantastic. fantastic. So great job to Asper Media. For my own personal Star Wars fandom, while this game is incredibly frustrating at times, just because they make it hard, it's a challenge. It's still fun. Every minute of it is fun. You're not going to have a moment of not having fun while playing this game. This is even better than the Skywalker Saga Lego game to me. Like I thought that this was just the Star Wars experience I was just looking for in the moment in the time. And so everybody should go grab this copy of the Dark Forces remaster. Again, couldn't have imagined a better scenario for this. And man, I want to play it again just talking about it. I had so much fun with this. I had so much fun. The story is dark and it's good and it's immersive and it's fun and just, oh man, brought me back to those classic times. I don't know, Jose, you going to pick this one up and check it out?
I mean, I was kind of on the fence about it at first, mainly because of the
Okay.
price tag. But now you've just really sold me on it. Like
yeah.
I'm probably just gonna go ahead and pick it up right now and probably even start playing it some. The cool thing is that on Steam they sell it for $29.99, which honestly
Yeah.
isn't bad at all compared to what most games released now
Yeah.
go for. And the other cool thing too is that they have a bundle where you can get the classic version for free with the new remastered version. So you're paying $30 and you're getting both the remastered and the classic.
Yeah.
So I could even go back and play the classic and see how the graphics used to be back then.
Yeah,
which would probably be something really cool to see.
It is very cool. I was able to do that obviously on the PS5 as well. Go back and look at the classic way and then do the comparison. It's astounding what the team has done over there at Asper with this game. They really just did a bang up job again.
That's normally the case. That's normally the case with a lot of those remastered games. Like you go back and play the old version, and then you come back and play the remaster, and it's like, it's crazy what you can do to in terms of remastering a game, like with graphics and stuff. It's just absolutely crazy.
And that's the crazy thing too. That's why I did like that they did include the classic look of it, because when I think for a lot of people in the new generation, they might be a Star Wars fan, they're probably going to want to pick this up, and then they'll look at it and be like, it doesn't look great. But then you go back and look how it used to look. Oh, they did a bang up job on this thing. It does show once you do go back and look at the.
I mean, it's like it's not remastered, but when you look at the classic Star Wars Battlefront 2, and you look at the Battlefront 2 now, I know they're like two different games, but they're both.
We'll talk about Battlefront in a second too, but yeah, go ahead.
The difference in graphics from the classic Battlefront 2 to the new Battlefront 2, like I remember playing. I had a friend who had a PS2. And he had the classic Battlefront 2. This was probably like 6-7 years ago. I remember playing. We decided to play the classic Battlefront 2 to see what the graphics, like what we used to see as kids.
For sure.
And I remember when I was a kid, we thought those graphics were incredible, right? Because we were kids, and at that time, that's what that's what good graphics look like. But looking at it again now, it's like, wait, we thought these were good. We thought these were good graphics. Like, woo. We've come a very long way in terms of graphics and all that stuff. Like, it's absolutely crazy.
I 100% agree with you on this, man. Just this is an astounding achievement. And again, like you could take away, take away the graphics part of it alone. I mean, just the game, the remaster, it runs so smooth. It just feels. I'm telling you, I've never been more satisfied shooting at stormtroopers. I mean, even the Battlefront games have not given me that satisfaction. That's fair. And it's so much fun, and you really do feel like you're playing. I like the simplicity of it. You know what I mean? I think what really makes this game great is the simplicity of it. You got like I think it's like maybe I'm underselling it, but like 12 levels that you go through. Like each level will take you, I mean, if you're really good, you could do it in 15 minutes, but if you're new to the game, it's going to take you probably an hour a piece, you know what I mean, to beat these levels. And so you can beat it in about 12 hours or so, if you're new to the game, and it'll probably take you a few tries. Again, I did enjoy the challenge of it, but the simplicity of the story really got me, and to just go back in and just see these, play as this Legends character, having the classic music, but in older video game form, was so fun.
Right.
Really brought me back and gave me nostalgia and chills and hit me right in the feels of what I used to love about Star Wars. And we need more of these. We really, really do. I do hope that they remaster Dark Forces 2 and continue on this trend. There's other Kyle Katarn games they can tackle. If this one does well, they might be able to. So yeah, just had a blast with that, and I'm recommending this to every single Star Wars fan that also is a gamer. Definitely pick this one up. It's just a blast. the most fun, I should say, I've had with the game in a long time. Not gonna say it's better than Jedi Survivor or Fallen Order, but to me, it's more fun. I'm gonna revisit this one more just because of the fun of it, and yeah, just had a blast playing it. I love the feels it gives me. All right, guys. Continuing on that trend though, we are also getting a Battlefront Classic Collection that is coming out on March 12th. So that's right around the corner as well. I can't wait to go back and play these classic games. And this is also done by Asper. So very excited to see what they did here. It's got a slight remaster. The remaster doesn't look as extensive as, say, the Dark Forces remaster. But it does have a slight resolution upgrade, which is great. Very excited to get back into these. We're going to get some online play back into it, which is fantastic. Having online gaming was hard back in the day. So for those of us that missed out on the Kit Fisto and Asajj Ventures DLC back in the day, we're going to have that now, which is fantastic. That's coming free with the game. But yeah, Battlefront I have fond memories of, a little bit more than Dark Forces, I must say, as a kid. And definitely looking forward to revisiting these in new resolution and seeing what Asper has done for even just the gameplay side of it and remastering these things to a T. Jose, what do you think of the Battlefront Classic Collection? Is this something you're going to pick up?
I mean, yeah, I'll probably pick up both Dark Forces, and
Yeah.
I mean, probably more the Battlefront collection, just because that's what I grew up playing,
Yeah.
the classic Battlefront games, especially
Yeah.
Battlefront 2. So, and after what you told me about how great the remaster was for Dark Forces, I feel like it's just
Yeah.
gonna be the same for these Battlefront
Mm-hmm.
classics. And so I would probably prioritize the Battlefront collection, just because of how nostalgic Battlefront 2,
Yeah.
the classic Battlefront 2 is for me. Um, but I mean, at some point, I'll probably end up having both in my library
Yeah.
and play both of them. Um, but yeah, no, I'm honestly just super excited to see what how the remastering has been done for this Battlefront
Yeah.
collection. Again, because of how much of a fan I am
Yeah.
of the classic Battlefront. So I'm just super excited. Honestly, we'll be picking it up. They are running a discount right now on on Steam until March 13th. It's
Sweet.
20% off right now. So I'll probably just go ahead and pre-order that right now and just wait for it to be released and just start playing that thing like
Yeah.
crazy. I'll be having a bunch of hours on that game.
Yeah, I hope this does well. It's a real wake up call for Star Wars gaming. I really think that um, it's not that we don't want Battlefront games. We do. We just want you to make them feel a little bit more like what we used to get out of them. And say for even like Dark Forces. I mean, I'm telling you, the feeling you get out of that game, you don't get out of modern Star Wars games. There was some magic back then. You know what I mean? That they haven't been able to recreate.
Right.
And I think the same is going to go for Battlefront. I can't wait to play the Battlefront 2 campaign again. Oh my gosh, that campaign is incredible.
Oh no,
Uh,
yeah, same.
uh,
That campaign was crazy.
oh, with Tamara Morrison's narration on that, and just going through
Yep.
Order 66 and all. Oh my gosh, and transitioning from clones to stormtroopers, man, such a great campaign. I can't
Yep.
wait to play that again and indulge in that. And gosh, I missed that story so much, and I can't wait to do it again in a new light. And hopefully again, and like I said, this isn't a remaster as extensive as Dark Forces, but there is that slight resolution upgrade. I know they did go back and upgrade the gameplay of it a little bit, make it run a lot more smooth. Again, the gameplay is key with Dark Forces, man. They really smooth that thing out. I mean, it plays like a dream,
Right.
and I think Battlefront will be the same thing. So I'm very excited to get
Right.
back into that and do it again. And yeah, man, I think it's going to be fun. I really do. I can't wait to do it online again. I think it'll be a big online turnout for this thing. A lot bigger than people are thinking. I think
No, for sure.
the game's going to be mighty successful. I really feel that way. I can't wait to play the classic maps. Can't wait to play Mustafar again and Dagobah and all these classic
Oh
maps
man,
that we
I can't wait
loved.
to, yeah, bro. Kashyyyk with the Wookiees,
Oh
man.
yeah, yeah, Kashyyyk was great.
Man,
Um,
that was a great feeling.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, for sure. They all,
great.
I mean, they had, oh gosh, there's that other one too that was during Order 66. I can't think of that they had on there, but oh man, they're just all great. Utapau, I think. Utapau was on there, if I'm not mistaken as well. So,
Oh, Utapau, yeah.
yeah, so they had tons of great maps on there that you could play through, and yeah, again, I'm just glad to very much like Dark Forces get back to the feel that I had as a kid while playing Star Wars gaming. It's really giving me the Star Wars itch again playing Dark Forces, and with this the trailers look great for this Battlefront game, so the Battlefront remaster, so it's really getting me back, man, to the nostalgia of it, and just super,
Oh, for sure.
super duper stoked. And I'm glad that we're going to be busy playing Star Wars this year. More than I thought we were going to be this year, honestly, just between
Oh,
these
100%.
two games that are coming out, man. All right, guys. So a lot of you may want to tune out now because this is the segment where we're going to talk some Bad Batch spoilers. So we haven't had a chance to
Mm,
catch up together on episodes 1 through 4 yet, but they have all dropped, and we're going to talk about all 4 of them in spoiler form, and then hopefully we can do it week by week here after this. So, all right, Jose, let's talk about Bad Batch season 3, or the final season rather, and we're going to talk about episodes 1 through 4 in spoiler form. If you guys are tuning out now, thank you for being here. Please watch the episodes and come back and listen to our spoiler take on the Bad Batch, and this will end out the show. All right, so I'm always a little hesitant on Bad Batch, right? I mean, I was super stoked for this season because of the way that season 2 had ended. It definitely ended on a great
right.
cliffhanger. But again, it is Bad Batch, and I always feel like
It
it's a
did.
little bit of a chore to get through. Just for myself, that's me speaking my personal experience. A lot of people love the style of the show and the way it plays, and that's great. Great for them. For me, I can tell you it's always a chore to get through. This season's like must-watch television right now. It's so good. I am thoroughly enjoying it. Uh,
For sure.
so far, every story beat has been fantastic. I think the reason it's working for me is because they're doing what I think the show should have done a long time ago. They're slowing down a little bit. They're focusing in on character, and that is the main thing here. The story is feeling it does. It feels like one big through line. And the show undeniably to me works better when you do it this way. Um, it's no more. I'm not saying they won't have a couple this season that'll be this way, but it's really taking away the mission of the week and just focusing in on with one big storyline. And so far, I have enjoyed that. I think it's been working great. Again, and these characters I've always liked, by the way, even in the first 2 seasons, even when it was a chore to watch, I've always enjoyed the characters. I just wanted to see a better story for them, and it really kind of reminds me of the Bad Boys franchise, where it's like 1 and 2 are they're not the best stories of Bad Boys, but those characters are fantastic. You give them a great story, it'll work. And then Bad Boys 3 turns out to be the best one of all of them and is a massive success for the franchise. And the same thing I feel like has happened here with Bad Batch. Like they're just giving it a great story to go off of, and they're continuing down the path. And I think for the most part, I've heard most fans are loving this season. It's great. It's must watch TV right now, 100%. I do get vibes of The Last of Us a little bit, which is awesome. I'm not saying it's on that level, but there are vibes of it. There's inspiration taken, I think, a little bit with the storytelling. Um, Even the one episode that feels like it could have been Adventure of the Week doesn't, because you have this backdrop, and again, we're talking spoilers here, of Omega, right? Like trying to get Omega. Like when you have that as your sort of backdrop and for the entire show, you can go off and do side missions, but we're always going to feel like the stakes are high because we know why you're doing the side mission. And I think that's the biggest difference here in this season. It's not like, oh, hey, I got a job for you. Go do it. All right, next episode. Hey, got another job for you. Go do it. This season, we have a through line, save Omega. And now the only thing that makes me just slightly nervous, or it was starting to make me nervous, is in episode 4, Omega does get back, reunites with the Bad Batch, but then that epic cliffhanger, right? Because Crosshair gets off the ship and he sees Hunter. Hunter ain't ready to embrace Crosshair, and I'm loving that
And
we're
Wrecker.
and Wrecker. Neither of the two are ready to embrace him, and I love that we're continuing the through line of Crosshair's arc, which has
You know.
also been an important piece of this. And again, slowing down, focusing on character. Let's keep doing that. So thoroughly enjoying the show so far. Jose, what do you think, man?
I mean, you basically hit the nail on the coffin there with everything you said. I mean, I agree 100% with you said. Ending of season 2 was a sad one, but it was a
Yeah,
cool I guess a cool way to end to kind of keep us on our toes for season three. I agree with you on with how with especially with season two, how like all the side quests were just, oh, I got a job for you here, do this.
Yeah.
Next episode I got another job for you here, go do this job. It was literally just to be able to have money to survive, have
Yeah.
buy food,
Sure.
buy whatever it is that they needed to survive.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like there was like anything heavy or significant there for these side quests. Whereas in this season so far, the one side, or I guess the couple side quests that they go on have that heavy significance, which is like you said, save Omega, which is why they work and why they have worked for this season so far. I love, like you said, how this is focusing on one big story, which at least for the first three episodes, which is save Omega. We're
Yeah.
gonna find the information that we need to go and save her.
Mm-hmm.
What I really, really have enjoyed so far, or what I enjoyed in the first three seasons was, and bit of the fourth one as well, is the chemistry between Omega and Crosshair that builds.
Yes.
That to me was perfectly done. It
Uh-huh.
was amazing from beginning to from the start to until they reunite, obviously with Wrecker and Hunter.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of how Omega was building a relationship with Tech
Mm-hmm.
in that one in the second season.
Yeah.
It feels like she had to do it with it didn't she didn't really have to do it with Hunter that much, really. They kind of just clicked. Same thing with Wrecker. They kind of just understood
Mm-hmm.
straight away. But with Tech and Crosshair, because I mean Crosshair kind of went the other way, but
Yeah.
with Tech, who was still a part of the
Tech.
Bad Batch,
Sorry.
the
I thought
Tech,
she
the way
said-
that she had to build a relation. Tech, the way that she had to build a trust, because Tech's that kind of guy that's like he's not really the emotional kind of guy.
I love
Whereas
that
Wrecker
stuff
and
last
Hunter
season. That
are
was some of the
are
best stuff.
are more of the emotional guys, and I loved how they built
Yeah.
that relationship with Omega and Tech over time, and how it ended
Mm-hmm.
was great. And I see the same thing here with Omega and Crosshair, kind of the same deal, but done in such a different and great way. Like it's
I
the
agree.
same thing, but it's done differently, obviously, because they're two different characters and they have two different backstories and things that have happened in their lives. So I really did enjoy, like, that was probably my favorite thing out of these four seasons. Why do I keep saying season? The 4 episodes that we've had so far is
Yeah.
the Omega and Crosshair chemistry. I really did like the little beast that Omega became friends with. I thought he was a really cute
Yeah.
addition to this season so far. Trying to think what else. The Kaminoan doctor lady, she was for the bit that we saw her, she was good too. Trying to basically help Omega escape and tell her the truth of why they wanted her blood.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Palpatine's parts as well. Whoo,
Let's
hearing
get
Ian
into that.
McDermott voice again.
Let's get into
Oh
that.
my.
First of all,
Honestly, I'm telling you right now, no one can do it better than him, man. Ian
Yeah.
McDermott is just him. He's, oh my goodness, man. So like, I could feel the darkness and like the scariness and just in his voice. Like his voice just carries so much. Like
it does.
you don't even need to see him in person. It's just his voice alone is what
Yeah.
makes him, and I
Yeah.
loved it so much.
Oh, Jimmy Simpson too was a doctor. Oh gosh, what's his name? The guy.
Oh
who's-
yeah, the other doctor. I forgot his name, but yeah, him
He's
too.
fantastic. He's a fantastic
Yeah.
villain this season. He's
No.
very scary
Oh,
and
yeah.
intimidating. So enjoying that as well. And by the way, this is an animated show. It has some of the darkest villains we've had. This is going back to
Exactly.
our conversation earlier. This is my point. Like some of the darkest
Exactly.
stuff we've had, and I'm definitely enjoying. I'm definitely enjoying that. Yeah, I piggyback off everything you say. I mean, Omega is really coming into her own this season, and building that relationship with Crosshair has definitely just helped her mature as a character for sure in a lot of ways.
And a lot older than we left her.
Oh, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. They definitely did like a really nice time jump, and it didn't feel like it was unnecessary. Like it felt like a necessary time jump. And I
Right.
love that. And it actually did make me emotional, by the way, when she did reunite with them. Like it really got me. Like when she saw Hunter and
Bro, it got
Wrecker
me tearing
again.
up.
Yeah,
It got me tearing up,
it
man.
hit. Yeah, it worked because of that time jump and because of the way they played it, because of the focus on this story. It worked. And diving into Palpatine, because this is expanding on the
I
larger.
won't lie to you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was gonna say the when Crosshair pops out and you see Hunter and Wrecker's faces, that almost made me like jaw drop
Oh
when
yeah,
I was watching. I was like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
what's gonna happen in episode 5? How are
hundred
they
percent.
actually gonna like react?
Yeah.
Are they gonna hug him? Are they gonna try and attack him? Like,
hmm
what's actually gonna happen? Like, I'm really intrigued to see what happens in the next episode in terms of that.
No, for sure. I gotta say though, yeah, 100%. But this expanding on the larger Star Wars lore is a big part of this too. I did want to talk about the Palpatine stuff going
Mm.
on because, all right, so we have Project Necromancer, right? That's kind of what this is going into, setting up a bit. Um, there's a moment in Episode 3, Palpatine comes in, right, and then he looks at inside this Bacta tank, and we have no idea what's inside this tank, but Palpatine saw it, and he's happy about it. Are we looking at Snoke or are we looking at Palpatine? What's inside that tank? What do you think?
I think it's a younger, more powerful version of himself, and
Okay.
he's trying to find an M count equal to his to be able to basically bring this younger, more powerful version of
Yeah.
himself to life.
Yeah.
Is what I think is happening because obviously right now the Palpatine that we're seeing is he knows that he's his death is very close
Yeah.
and he's basically trying to do everything in his power to make sure that that doesn't happen, and so basically this
Yeah.
project, because it's literally in the name too, Project Necromancer,
Oh,
he's
100%.
quite
Yeah.
literally trying to bring back
I
a
agree.
younger, more powerful version of himself back to life.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, or it could be, which we know is a clone from canon, his son, Ray's father. That was another alternative that I thought it might be. So
That's possible too, yeah.
yeah. Oh, by the way, the scene where her M count was right. Oh my god, that got me. I was like, oh shit, the stakes like just raised immediately because
Mm.
now they're gonna still be going
Whew.
after Omega throughout the season. They still want her back, right? So the stakes raised immediately, and
Well, I mean, they did through episode 4. They were trying to, they found the ship that crashed, and yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, but that moment too was amazing because of the way that Jimmy Simpson was like, "All right, now call off the ships," and then like they had to call off the fleet to try to capture her because he wants her alive now, and it's like it's changed the game. It's really changed the game at this point
No,
now, knowing that
100%.
her M count was positive. So that was interesting as well. I do agree with you. I do think he was looking at a younger Palpatine probably, or a different version of himself that was more powerful. I mean, I think that this is retroactively trying to fill in the plot holes of Rise of Skywalker. That's essentially what this is setting up. I do like, even though we're away from the base on episode 4, they didn't
Yeah.
stray away from what was happening with the villains. Like they're still building that part of the story so we can have more context to it of everything going on there. So I enjoy that they're not going to stray away from that. We're still going to see what's going on with the villains. I think my prediction is Omega's going to go back and try to save her quote unquote sister. That's my prediction. She's going to get the Bad Batch crew and they're going to go try and get her out with the whole crew and Crosshair. I think they have a clone of Asajj Ventress at this point. I don't think it's the actual Asajj. I think that
Mm.
they've taken her DNA and they've cloned her. That's how I think she's going to return as well. So I think that'll be a really fascinating part of the plot as well. As we know from the trailer, we are getting some kind of version of Asajj back in the story. So definitely think it's some kind of clone that they're going to set on him. And that excites
Yep.
me too. I love that they are diving into this cloning stuff because having a clone of Asajj makes a lot more sense. Cloning is some of my favorite stuff in the Heir to the Empire trilogy. I think that they handled it well, and it does feel like with this show they're on the same track of doing that. So super super stoked about this show, man. I'm so excited that I'm like this happy about a Bad Batch
Mm-hmm.
season, man. And there's no exaggeration here. This is must watch television right now. If you guys aren't watching the Bad Batch, catch up. I will. I know the first 2 seasons aren't the best to watch. They will feel like a chore, but once you through them, it's all worth it for the payoff we're getting so far here in this final season. I mean, it is banging, dude. Every week, I'm so excited for this. I like this season better than Mandalorian season 1 and 2 so far. I'm not kidding. This is how much I like the show so far. It's near Andor
I'm not
level.
gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah, it's like near Andor
No, for sure.
Ahsoka level for me so far. It's on that level of greatness that I know that they're capable of. Loving the character driven story and just I hope they continue on this track, man. I hope that this final season ends well and yeah, man, it feels like it's real Star Wars. You know what I mean? It really feels like real authentic Star Wars and. I'm enjoying all of it. And again, like Star Wars is best when it focuses on characters. Stop it with the the spectacle side of it. Oh, faster, more intense. I know that's an old idea of George's, but when you start to focus on character, man, you tell such better stories. Audiences are more
True.
invested. Man, I'm loving every minute of the season, and every minute of it is enthralling, and it's getting
Same.
me, and it's making me excited for
For
the
sure.
prospect of even just Star Wars animation moving forward. We're getting Tales of the Jedi season 2 this year. Man, I'm excited for that now. You know what I mean? It's like this is a great precursor to that already because it's showing what we can do within the animation. We can make great Star Wars. Not that Filoni hadn't done that before. I mean, Rebels to me is some of the best Star Wars out there. It's just it felt like with the first two seasons of Bad Batch, we were lacking it. It's like why are we going back to the well of Adventure of the Week and all that? Like I understand that George loved Buck Rogers, but that doesn't mean we got to do it now. Like it's we're so much stronger than that in storytelling at these days. We don't have to do the serial thing anymore. You can take influence from it now and again,
Isn't that also?
but
Isn't that also because? Isn't that also because Paycheck was involved then? With
well, with
those two
season
seasons
2, I
too.
think it had a big part of it in season 2 because I do think that season 2 they probably did want to start connecting more. But season 1 was that was all the fault of the powers that be. But Iger was there for season 1, so uh, anyway,
I mean, I do prefer. I prefer season one to season two, anyways. But yeah.
oh, okay, fair enough. Anyway, but this is the best one, no doubt. I think that
Oh no, yeah, no, 100%, yeah,
they're
for
letting
sure.
Dave Filoni and Jennifer Corbett do what they want here and close it out the way they want, and it shows they're not trying to appease two children again, like we were talking about earlier. It's not just like a children-centered show. They're really trying to open it up to all fans and just make a story
They're
that
going away from
everybody
that
can
family
enjoy.
fare.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, and it's an animated show. Kids should love it. Kids will love it. I think kids will love this as well as adults, and that's the great thing about it, man. Thoroughly
100%.
enjoying this. Thoroughly enjoying this. This is such fun stuff. All right, guys, those are our thoughts on the Bad Batch season 3 so far. You guys got to let us know what you think. And as of the time you're watching this, the 5th episode will be out. So very exciting. Can't wait to get into that one with Jose as well. So that'll be a lot of fun. So I did want to throw out a quick apology about our Dune 2 spoiler review. We had some audio issues on that, and thank you guys for bearing with that. And thank you all for watching the non-spoiler review. I mean, it's so great to see you guys engaging with that, despite the audio issues we did have, and it really is gratifying to know that we're out there. We're talking to somebody out there that really does make this experience all the better, and we're just going to keep moving forward, I think, and not slow down. I really do want to make 2024 our year. I think Jose and I both set out to do that from the very beginning, and it's starting to pay off, I think, a little bit. So thank you, everybody, though. It
No, for
couldn't
sure.
couldn't happen without all of you out there who are viewing this stuff, and by no means is that lost on me. So appreciate it. All right, guys. Look, let us know what you think of all the Star Wars stuff. I think that this is a better year for Star Wars than I thought it was going to be, man. I really got to tell you, like, just immediately, I thought Bad Batch was going to be the one show that was like, all right, and then I thought Tales of the Jedi season 2 would be a cool novelty, and I thought Acolyte would be great, and then Skeleton Crew would be like, ah. But we also got the 2 games as we talked about, and everything exciting with Star Wars this year, man. This is a much bigger year for Star Wars than I genuinely thought it was going to be, and I couldn't be happier about it, man. This is the biggest year we've had for Star Wars in a while, in a way. We're getting movie updates again, and it's like this feels great, man. I think we're back. I think we really are back, and it feels amazing to me, man. It makes me emotional inside. I love it. I love it.